Mistakes made while teaching children to read, and I have seven of them. The seven biggest mistakes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me once again. Previously, we explored why many children spend years in school without learning to read, and today we are talking about mistakes. Okay, we're going to take the conversation a step further. However, before we begin, I would like you to make a promise to yourself. Today's session is not about judging yourself, okay? It's about growing. Every great teacher is first a great learner. I've made mistakes. You have made mistakes. The question is not whether we have made mistakes. The question is whether we are willing to learn from them. All right? When we have mistakes, when certain things happen to us, brooding over it isn't going to solve any problem, but learning from those mistakes is what makes us grow. Okay, so one of the values I hold dearly is that children deserve adults who are still learning, and that is key. If we stop learning, we eventually stop serving children as well as we could. So today, I invite you to reflect with an open heart. Mistake number one: teaching every child the same way. Now imagine giving every child the same size of shoe and expecting everyone to walk comfortably. That's impossible. Yet this is exactly what we sometimes do in our classrooms. Some children learn by listening, just like I said before, some by seeing, some by touching, some by moving, some need more repetition. Others understand quickly but need greater challenges. Every child is unique because every child was created uniquely. Our responsibility is to help every child to flourish. That is it, to flourish. When a child struggles, don't immediately conclude, this child is slow. Instead, ask yourself this question. What approach does this child need from me? Because your interest is to see that a change has occurred. All right? You want to see that a change has occurred. So always question yourself, but not look at the child and feel that is the problem. The second mistake is correcting more than encouraging. Many teachers genuinely want children to succeed. Many. I've met so many teachers, But sometimes our classrooms become places where children hear more correction than encouragement. Wrong. No. You should know this. Hurry up. After hearing these repeatedly, some children stop trying. Some stop trying. I didn't say all of them. Some of them stop trying. And even if you lose one, that's a lot. And it's not because they cannot learn, but it's because they are afraid of failing. It happens to us as adults, so I believe you can relate to what I'm saying. So just remember this, please. Children learn best when they are feeling emotionally safe. When children know mistakes are part of learning, and which is your job to make them feel that it's part of learning, they participate more confidently. So correct with dignity, praise their effort, not the outcome, their effort. Build confidence, and you'll be surprised at how far you could go with your children. So the third mistake is teaching letter names before letter sounds. This is one of the most common mistakes that I've seen teachers make. Even today, some still do it and are not particularly sure of how to implement the use of sounds ahead of teaching letter names. So a child proudly sings A to Z and everyone applauds. Yet, when asked to read cat, the child cannot. Why? Why can't that child read the word cat? Because reading is unlocked by sounds, not letter names. Children need to hear, recognize, and blend sounds before fluent reading develops. This is why systematic phonics works so efficiently and so effectively. It gives children a logical pattern, or a logical pathway into reading. It helps a lot, and it branches out into other areas of their lives, the ability to think logically. The fourth mistake, rushing children through learning. Every child develops differently. Some children master blending quickly, others need additional practice. Learning is not a competition. I believe it's because we were taught with positioning and, competing amongst ourselves. We believe that's the best thing to do. We just transfer it to other children. But it's not about competition. It's helping every child to get to where they are meant to be. Take every single child. Their progress is unique. It's different. Learning is not a competition. When we rush children simply to complete the scheme of work, we may complete the syllabus while leaving the children behind, or leaving some children behind, or leaving a child behind. Slow progress is progress. Our goal is mastery, not speed. Okay? Our fifth mistake: forgetting that teachers bring their own childhood into the classroom. Did you ever think about this as a mistake? Teachers bring their own childhood into the classroom. This is one issue, or one part, or one main concern, that many people never talk about. Every teacher was once a child. Every teacher carries experiences of their childhood. Some were encouraged, some were constantly criticized, some were shouted at, some were never allowed to ask questions. If we never examine those experiences, we may unknowingly recreate them in our classroom. Sometimes we raise our voice because that is how authority was demonstrated to us as children. Sometimes we shame children because shame was used to control us. But healing begins with awareness. You have the opportunity to become the teacher you may never have, or you had never had. That is one of the greatest gifts you can give a child, So let us reflect about it. Let's think about it. Let's understand the importance of our emotional state when we walk into our classroom. The sixth mistake is that we focus only on reading skills instead of the whole child. Wow. I've seen this play out, and it's not our fault. It's not the fault of the teacher. It's just how teaching was shown to him or her. It's robotic. It's black and white. Reading is important. In fact, it's very important. But children are not reading machines. They are human beings. They have emotions. They have dreams. They have questions. They have fears. They have talents. And they have relationships. Where children feel hungry, anxious, rejected, embarrassed, or unsafe, learning becomes much more difficult. As educators, we must teach the child, not the curriculum. Do you understand this fact? Our seventh mistake is stopping your own learning. We didn't know that I was going to say that, right? Stopping our own learning could be the biggest mistake a teacher could do, or a parent could do, or a school leader could do. Thinking you've graduated and no more reading. No, that's just the beginning, because you have a responsibility to children. Education continues to change. Research continues to grow. Children's needs continue to evolve. The teacher who makes the greatest impact are those who remain curious. They attend trainings, they read books, they observe others, they ask questions, they reflect often. Your growth determines how many children you can help. So let's not stop learning. So let's reflect on this. Okay? And try to write down your answers honestly. So which mistake challenged me the most? Which mistake challenged me the most? Which one have I unknowingly been making? What will I intentionally change this week? How do I want my pupils to remember me years from now? Remember, children may forget today's lesson, but they rarely forget how a teacher made them feel. I want to leave you with this thought. A child who learns to read gains a skill. A child who learns in an environment of encouragement gains something even greater: confidence. Confidence actually opens doors to that reading. To reading, of course. Or should I say, or let me put it another way. Confidence opens doors that reading alone cannot. Okay. As teachers, we are not simply preparing children for examinations, which is what some of us think. We are helping shape the way they see themselves and the way the world around them is. Okay? I want us to reflect on this. And it's an incredible responsibility. Thank you for staying with me. The next is about why memorizing A to Z does not teach a child to read. If today's session has encouraged you and you're ready to move beyond theory into practical classroom implementation, do stay with me tomorrow. May Allah bless your work, bless your pupils, and make every classroom you enter a place where children feel safe to learn, confident to grow, and free to discover who they were created to become. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.